Hi, this is Sally Morgan, physical therapist, craniosacral therapist, and Tellington T-Touch practitioner for animals and people. This is Tristan, he's a Corgi, and this is an episode of Conversations with a Corgi. And today we're going to continue our discussion about several related energy detecting methods, I guess they are. We're going to be talking about applied kinesiology today. Last time we talked about how to use a pendulum to ask questions for yourself and for your animal, and also how to use this to look at the chakras. And today we're going to talk about one way that I use applied kinesiology, and there's several others I'll show you as time goes along. So kinesiology itself is muscle testing, and that is a term developed a long time ago for a way to test the strength of muscles in the body. And that includes, all the work that physical therapists and occupational therapists do. We judge a lot of a person's progress in therapy by how much stronger their muscles are getting. And remember, these fields were developed after World War I and World War II to help soldiers recovering. So at that time, laying in bed resting, quote unquote, for months on end, you would need a lot of strengthening. So the muscle testing that we use in physical therapy resulted from trying to have a way to measure people's progress. And of course, that didn't become a huge problem until insurance came along. And then if you're not making progress, you're off therapy. So muscle testing, for instance, to test the biceps muscle, the person holds their hand this way, and you as the therapist try to open the arm this way. And then as a therapist, you have to grade that on a scale of 1 to 5. 5 is very strong. 1 is like they can't move it. They can't even get it in this position. And there are specific tests for every muscle in the body so that you can isolate, different muscle attachments all the way through the body. This is a huge part of one of the classes we had in physical therapy school. And what they've done lots of studies with this, they found that if I muscle test a certain muscle on a person today and next week, or today and 6 more times tomorrow, that I will have a lot of reliability measured against me. However, me measured against another therapist, not so reliable. So that it's come under a lot of criticism in the physical therapy world. Well, actually from insurance companies, because physical therapists believe it works. And, the bottom line is, if I have a strong, fit 26-year-old man holding his arm this way, with all my strength with 2 arms, am I going to be able to open that? Probably not. So it's not really an exact science. And of course, they have machines now where the person can do this, and we can measure how much resistance they can take in specific numbers. Those machines are expensive, not available everywhere, and they don't accommodate every single muscle in the body like a human can. So there's a lot of controversy around typical kinesiological muscle testing. So applied kinesiology is another whole field, and it's not great that they both use the same word, kinesiology, because it makes it more confusing. So applied kinesiology is using the relative strength of some muscles to determine your emotional state. What people discovered was that how you're feeling about something can influence your strength when thinking about that thing. So if you're thinking about something that's very unpleasant or not good for you, the strength will be less than if you're thinking about something that you love or something that is good for you. Now, again, the person doing the testing is a huge factor in this. And so we have a guy around here, actually my naturopath and another guy who I think is a chiropractor. They do all of their work through muscle testing. And the typical way to do it, and we'll talk more about this maybe another time, hold your arm out. Usually it's your left arm, but I'm holding my Corgi. And then the person, you can hold like something that might be good for you, like a particular supplement in one hand, and then they'll push on your arm, and if it drops easily, that supplement's not good for you. If you're stronger with that supplement, then that's a good supplement. Now, this is fraught with problems. First of all, you've got the tester. Are they a good tester? Is this a good thing that they are testing for? How do they feel about the object that they're holding in their hand, or the question they're asking you? All kinds of factors can come into play to influence this person's ability to test you in a very objective way. So the next thing that is a problem is somebody like me. I have a lot of orthopedic injuries. Both of my collarbones are broken and they never healed. I have extremely limited strength in both of my shoulders. Depending on the day, it can be better or worse, but it is a very unreliable thing to test my arms for anything that I might or might not need to help me. So for me, going to a naturopath that does everything through muscle testing, we had to find another solution because I can't test or be tested doing this method because of the limitations in my strength in my upper body. Well, my shoulders specifically, because I have nothing attaching my shoulders to my body except those muscles, and those muscles are under great stress all day long, just holding my body together, and they have no ability to do anything extra. So what I use when I'm determining if a dog or a horse or a cat or a bunny or a person needs a particular supplement, and typically I'm testing for flower essences because sometimes they need more than one and the person can only afford one. So the way I use this method is you make two little loops with your fingers and you interlace them like a little infinity thing. See? And if I pull against it, right now it's pretty strong. I can't break it. So if I do the one I did yesterday or last time and say, I love seafood, oh my God, I can't hold it because I don't like to eat seafood at all. And I don't even want to be in the room when someone else is eating it. I really am offended by it. So for whatever reason. So how you use this with your animals is this, and this is really the basis of a lot of the work we do with emotion code, and learning how to do good muscle testing that works for you is a big part of doing emotion code work, because you're asking a kind of a directed series of questions to find out what is true for that person or animal you're testing. So when I am going to test a dog for, let's say, to see if they need sibling rivalry, I'll say the name of the dog. Like my buddies up there, I'll say, my name is Peanut. My name is Peanut until I can't break it. And I'll keep thinking I'm Peanut. When I'm doing this for a person long distance or a pet, I have a picture of them I'm looking at, and I imagine Peanut until I can't break the muscle test here. So I'm Peanut now in my thoughts. Okay, so is sibling rivalry a good flower essence for Peanut? No. Is panic attack a good flower essence for Peanut? Yes. And Peanut is prone, like Tristan, to be terrified of gunshots. He lives up in New Hampshire. He is exposed to gunshots and loud noises. They work at a university up there, and so they hear dumpsters slamming and cars going by and students making noise and, of course, gunshots out in the hillside where they hike all weekend. So panic attack might be a good flower essence to give our little pal Peanut when he's going on walks, so that he is not so afraid. So that's one thing. And then, the sibling rivalry, he doesn't really need it, but his brother that he lives with definitely needs it from time to time, because he and Peanut have a lot of fights, mostly caused by the other dog. And so sibling rivalry, though Peanut might be eating it because he lives in a house with another dog that needs it and you put it in their water, is not something that he personally needs. So you really need to understand what you're asking and the animal you're asking. If I were to ask his brother if he needed sibling rivalry, we might get a positive response. So once I'm done asking my animal if he needs this particular flower essence, I'll go back to this and I'll think of my own name until it's really strong, and I'm back to myself. So you can try this with yourself, just doing this and asking yourself questions you know the answers to. Do I love meatloaf? No. Do I love vanilla pudding? Yes. Do I love the ocean? Yes. Until you get a good sense of what is right and true for you. And then your ability to use this in relationship to your pet may be limited, because sometimes when you love an animal and live with them, like I do with Tristan, it is really hard for me to separate my opinions, my feelings, and my impressions from what is true for him. That's why it's not so great for you to use this with your own animal until you get really good at doing it and you're really clear about feeling that you are really your animal and not yourself. Even for me to do Peanut, who's a good pal of mine, is a little bit tricky because I do have a lot of opinions and I've known him a long time and I have a lot of impressions from him. And so for me to just really embody Peanut without my personal ideas stepping in can be a little tricky. So it's great. I do great long distance work with emotion code using this technique. I have found amazing things in animals that no one knew about, and even the animal communicator, and sometimes an animal communicator has been able to clarify that. Part of doing this kind of muscle test, applied kinesiology, is being clear with your questions and precise with your questions. If you like or don't like something, need or don't need something, those are easier places to start. But again, you might have to get down to particular questions. Like if you are trying to quote unquote diagnose something that may be going on with your dog, you know, you may get a yes for does he have a tummy ache, but you know, is it the large intestine, small intestine, the actual stomach? Is it further down the digestive tract, further up the digestive tract? Is a tummy ache a muscular problem? Is it a result of a problem in the spine? Is it a result of, you know, muscles in the side from jumping too much, being injured? So asking your dog if he has a tummy ache isn't giving you a ton of information. But let's say your dog has diarrhea and you have three options. You know, should you give him diatomaceous earth? Should you give him clay? Should you give him pumpkin? Those are pretty simple and you can, all of them will work, but to find the one that's best for your dog in this occasion, you can ask him these three questions. And so maybe you'll get a strong answer on the one that you really need. Sometimes it's equivocal, and I do encourage you to go back a few times and ask several times, you know, do I love the ocean? Yes. Do I love the ocean? Yes. Do I love the sea? Yes. Do I love the beach? Yes. So that you get a really strong sense of what is correct. Because if you're wrong with this, sometimes it can be a bad thing. For instance, when your dog has diarrhea and you're asking if he needs any of these three things, not such a big risk because all of them are helpful, all of them will work, all different kinds of vets and your friends will recommend one or the other of them. But if you ask if you should give him something that might cause diarrhea and you're not good at doing this, that might not be a very good thing. So that's one way to, you know, when you're testing something that's pretty neutral, like which flower essence is the best one at this time. And again, be specific, like which one is the best? Great, but which one's the best for your dog at this time for this problem? That's the way to ask those questions. So asking the questions are a big part of using applied kinesiology. And tomorrow Wednesday, I'll be at my job as an educator. Thursday, when I come back, I'll show you another technique that we use often in T-Touch classes, because sometimes we don't know exactly what we need to do to help a dog. You know, are they in pain? Are they in emotional pain? So we sometimes in T-Touch classes need to ask questions like this. And you don't do it in all of them. Certainly we do it with Linda. I usually use this method when I'm teaching a class and I need to know something specific, and I'm teaching 1 and 2 day classes, so I don't want to, or 3 day, I don't want to waste a lot of my time showing people how to do this when they really need to learn the T-Touches. So thanks for joining us today. I hope that answered your question, Wendy. I'm sure you have used this technique for yourself. Sorry, Biss. He's not feeling so good today, my Tristan. He didn't want to come downstairs. He's been hiding under the toilet. Of course, it's raining and terrible out. And he had a big breakfast. This is a chubby little corgi. Bet you handsome. So thanks for joining us today. We'll be back on Thursday between 8:30 and 9, and we'll have another look at applied kinesiology for use with your pets. Everybody have a great day.